Today we are diving deep into conditional access, the cornerstone of modern identity security and zero trust architecture. What is conditional access? Think of conditional access as an intelligent bouncer for your cloud resources. Traditional security is binary. You either have access or you don't. Conditional access adds context. It asks yes, but under what conditions? There are if then statement for access control, like if you are signing in from an untrusted network, then require multi-factor authentication. If you're accessing sensitive financial data, then require a compliant device. If you're a guest user, then block downloads. If sign-in is high, then requires password change. This is policy-driven security that adapts to risk in real time. Now, every policy has three components: assignments, conditions, and controls. So let's understanding the structure is critical. So assignment is like who and what, if I consider the users and groups, so who does this policy apply to? Is that for specific users, groups, or directory roles, guest or users, or all users? You can exclude users also, like critical for which is break glass accounts. Then you can consider cloud apps. What are they accessing? All cloud apps or specific apps like Office 365 or custom line of business apps? That's its coming conditions. So conditions answer when and where. Like think of sign-in risk like low, medium, or high risk based on Azure identity protection. Think about device platform. Is that Windows, macOS, iOS, Android, Linux? Location, just to make sure that the locations you define, like your office network or specific countries. Then client apps. What kind of applications? Browser based, mobile apps, desktop apps. That can be different thing. And also the device state. Is that compliant? Is that hybrid joint, domain joint? And if we think all those, like also the controls, when you're talking about controls, so what kind of grant need to be assigned? Is that MFA is required? Is that compliant devices? Is that required hybrid Azure AD joint? If we check like session, is that control app session, sign in frequency, persistent browser session? So there are so many things need to check. Now it's coming in the part of layered policies. Here where it gets interesting. So you can create multiple policies that work together. If think about policy, baseline policy is like MFA. So there can be some specific users. For break glass, there can be all users. Then applications, just to make sure is that cloud apps, what the condition, what the control. Then it's coming like elevated security for finance app. Then risk, just to make sure that risk based blocking, put the condition if risk is high, then block the access. Then also think of guest level user restrictions. So for example, for guest, don't allow them to download. So these policies layer together. A finance employee accessing SAP from their managed laptop with low risk will pass all policies. A guest user trying to access the same app will be blocked by here policy 4. So now what we can do, this is one of the most important features, like before enabling a policy, switch it to report only mode. So the policy evaluates every sign in and logs what it would have done, but does not actually enforce anything. You can see how many users would be affected, Would anyone be unexpectedly blocked? Are there gaps in coverage? Run report only mode for at least a week, review the sign in logs, adjust the policy, then switch to enabled mode. This prevents the nightmare scenarios where you accidentally lock some specific accounts which may need to run some specific jobs. Now, what if tool policy? So it's actually simulate its impact. The what if tools lets you input a specific user and applications they are accessing, their location and device platform, sign in risk level. The tool shows you which policies should apply and what the outcome would be. This is invaluable for troubleshooting. Like some users cannot access some team, so we can do what if to see which policy is blocking hard to access. Now, every organization needs a break glass accounts, emergency accounts that can access everything if normal authentication fails. But conditional access policies would block them too. So in that case, create a security group for break glassing accounts. In every conditional access policy, exclude this group from assignments. This ensures your emergency accounts always work. Yes, you can monitor and troubleshoot in just to make sure that sign-in logs, failure regions, and what are the common issues. You can go through more in details. So now in the lab, we will do like block access to some apps, SOA, for a specific user, test before and after. Then we'll use the what if tool to simulate policy impact without creating anything. Third, we will create a sign-in frequency policy in report-only mode to see evaluation without enforcement. By the end, you will understand how to design, test, and deploy conditional access policies that balance security and usability. So let's do this now. So here we are going to focus on implement and test a conditional access policy lab. So first we are going to set a policy and verify that one. So I'll pass this GitHub repo link in the description section so that you can follow this one. So here we are connected into Microsoft Entra as a admin user. So very first task, we are going to set a conditional access policy to block Debra from accessing an app, so which is SOIL. So for that, we are connecting into incognito window. Now, if we check the apps, let me increase the size a little bit. Click on all apps to see all of them. So now here you see SOIL. If I select that one, and we can see that it loads correctly without any issues. So logging in as Debra into that application itself. And there is no issue at all. So now sign out from this session, and let's go to Microsoft in the Intra window to create a conditional access policy. So under Intra ID, click on conditional access, and in the overview tab, click on create new policy. In the name, give a policy name. So I'm just copy paste from this lab document that we are following. And now under assignments, that select the 0 users and groups. And now select users and groups. And then from this pane, select Debra, Debra's account, and then select. And let's go to target resource. Currently no target resource has been selected. So verify that color. You see that there is a cloud apps, also all resources, that option is there. Now we are doing some filtering. We don't need filter for this one. We just need to select the resource from here. So click select and check for SWA. Select SWA and then select option. And now under access control, within the grant selection, grant section, we are going to select controls. So in the grant pane, we are selecting block access and then select option. And under the enable policy section, we are going to select on and then select create button. So it's successfully created. Now test the conditional access policy. We can see that the policy is assigned under Debra user. Now let's connect again into in private window with user Debra. And here we see that user Debra is prevented from accessing Microsoft SOA. Now you see the policy information, the conditional access policy. There are so many options or features that you can go through. Now we can delete by clicking delete button, and if we would like to disable again, then we can just block access. We can see that grant option. Otherwise we can also do enable policy to off. We go back, here is the enable policy. We are making this policy also. Policy is there, but policy will not apply. And click save button when you set that one, just to make sure that policy is off. Now if we log back again with the Debra user, so you can see Debra can sign in and see the SOA window. Can close this session. So we have done this part, that conditional access policy. Now we'll do test conditional access policies with what if. So let's go back to Microsoft Entra window. And under conditional access, in the navigation pane, select policies. And now you see that option what if, select. So now under identity, select, first search for Debra account. Select Debra's account. That under user you can see that we have selected Debra's. And now select target type. That select the application. So and now there is a platform. Select Windows platform. Select client apps. Here we are selecting mobile apps, desktop type. And now here is the option, click on what if. And now here you can see that policies that will apply and policies that will not apply. So here from you can see the policies which are there, what the display name, on or off status. So this allows to test the policies and their effectiveness before enabling the policy. So now we're going to do configure sign-in frequency controls using a conditional access policy. So click on conditional access policy, then policies. And now we are going to create a new policy. Give a policy name. Then select a user assignment. For that we are going to select user. In this case we are going to select user Grady Archie. Then we are going to select a resource. So we are going to select resource for this lab is Office 365. And then we are going to get the access control. And setting that up like sign in frequency. We are selecting 30 for that one. Then we are going to select the units menu, select days, and then select button. And under enable policy, we are just selecting which is default report only. Then click on create button. So report only mode is a new conditional access policy step that allows the administrator to evaluate the impact of conditional access policies before enabling them into their environment. So now, if we want, we can just delete the policy here. So conditional access policies can be enabled in report-only mode. During sign-in, policies in report-only mode are evaluated but not enforced. Results are logged in the conditional access and report-only tabs of the sign-in log details. And customers with an Azure Monitor subscription can monitor the impact of their conditional access policies in the conditional access insight workbook. We have completed this lab. Yeah. Next, we'll go through enable sign-in and user risk policies into our next lab.